Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
You're listening to Roundtable with myself, Heyang. I'm joined by Steve Hatherly and Yushan in the studio. Coming up, feet sore, stress high. Foot therapy is here to save the day. From steamy herbal soaks to those hurt so good massages. We take a look at why this ancient practice is a contemporary favorite, and whether it's the world of pop culture, technology, or something that touches your heart. We're here to discuss in our heart-to-heart segment. Drop us a line at roundtablepodcast@qq.com, or go big and send us a voice memo. We're all ears, and you get to hear your voice on our show. Our podcast listeners can find us at Roundtable China on Apple Podcasts and the podcast platform of your choice. Now let's switch gears. Foot therapy is where pain meets pleasure, and your tired feet come out victorious. Picture this. Your feet first enjoy a luxurious soak in a warm, fragrant herbal bath. Soften up for what's next. Then comes the massage. Those expert fingers press into pressure points you didn't know even existed with laser-like precision. It's a mix of ouch and ah that somehow works magic. The result? A wave of soothing relaxation washes over you. By the end, you're floating on cloud 9, your feet thanking you for the VIP treatment they didn't know they needed. Perfect for office workers juggling screens, deadlines, and the occasional existential crisis. Foot therapy, part of a broader embrace of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, wellness practices, has captured the hearts of Chinese young people. So what is foot therapy, which actually extends more than the massage, and why is it so good?
Can I just start by saying, Heyang, you're such a poet in concluding the whole process in such a poetic way that even listening to it brings you this aesthetic enjoyment of imagining such scene.
I imagined you standing out on the street in front of a foot massage shop, dressed in some sort of Shakespearean clothing.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that was very nicely said.
Right.
So what are we talking about here? Foot therapy, reflexology, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a more theoretical way to put it. So when we talk about foot therapy, it primarily refers to this traditional Chinese foot massage, which draws upon the principles of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, but also is combined with other wellness practices as well, including like soaking your feet, like Heyang mentioned, and also some other massaging experiences combined all together. And this type of foot therapy is not just a simple massage, like we mentioned. It's a holistic experience that aims to improve the overall well-being of your entire body.
Now, I must admit, I haven't gone yet, but I've been curious. And even in our own neighborhood here, just outside our studios, about a block away, there's kind of a long street that has a lot of places to eat, but mixed in, and I don't know if, I'm sure you've noticed this, but mixed in with all those restaurants, there are numerous spas there on both sides of the street. And some of them seem fancier than others, but I stopped at one shop just out of curiosity one day just to check the prices, and it's really, really affordable. It's not expensive at all. I think, being Canadian, and when I hear my mom and my sisters talk about, going for a spa day or something, it can cost up to hundreds of dollars, right? But going for this type of foot therapy, especially in our neighborhood, not expensive at all.
Well, it really depends. Yeah, but hundreds of dollars or US dollars for one session, that's definitely out of reach for most Chinese people. I think you're talking about a difference in price level in different countries as well.
And for some stores, I'm pretty sure we're not going to the same store, but I'm sure it's on the same street we're talking about. But for
what makes you think you and I wouldn't go to the same? I'm sure you aren't going to the same place I'm going, Steve. I'm not in some rundown shack in the back of a van.
I know. I'm just talking about the different prices I noticed
I'm teasing.
I know, but the shop that I stopped by one day, just like you, I was trying to just look for how much they cost these days. The one I went to cost about 400 yuan or a bit slightly above that for one 60-minute spa just all over your body, not just on the foot.
$60-$70
dollars,
maybe?
I think. Yeah,
somewhere in that range.
so it's like the medium, if not a slightly higher, a bit more luxurious experience, I would say. But now when we're talking about foot therapy, it's more about that affordable but still enjoyable experience. That's start with a foot soak that just prepares your skin on the foot.
Yes, it's important. It's important.
Get tender and get ready for the massage. And it's usually soaking your feet in the warm herbal bath, plus rose petals and essential oils sometimes, depending on the store that's providing the service. And then after that is done...
You sound like you're there already.
Vicariously, I lived that experience again.
What else? Walk us through this a little bit. What else after the foot bath?
You know what? During the foot bath, you can also get complimentary body massage on your shoulder, on your head, on your arms, and just to boost that relaxation experience, followed by afterwards, after the bath, then it comes to the foot massage process, so that you can sit up or lie down comfortably on the massage chair where there's this professional therapist applying on various massageable points. What did you call it again? The reflexology points on your foot, that certain areas can actually reflect to a certain part or system in your body. Some are referring to organs as well. So by pressing on these points, it's like curing your whole body bit by bit.
Yeah, I printed out. This is my reflexology foot chart. Maybe if we have time, I'll talk about a couple of places on there. But the data suggests that this type of foot therapy is getting more and more popular as of late. Between December of 2023 and January of 2024, orders for bathhouse services is one of China's leading lifestyle services platforms. That's called Meituan. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Right.
They surged by, get this, 200% within that amount of time. And then by the end of 2023, the number of therapy shops listed on that location had reached nearly 500,000, which is up from 300,000 the previous year. So, as we just talked about, with more demand comes more supply.
Right. And also the reflexology point, that is intertwined with traditional Chinese medicine.
Right.
And you guys mentioned, as we did yesterday, on yesterday's show, about the reflection points, and that's all TCM. And Steve, could you just help us understand a little bit better, these agricultural punctual points and TCM in play, and that's all done in that little area called the sole of your foot.
Yeah. Well, it's all over your foot, as a matter of fact. Let me choose just one location. So if you're listening now, take off your socks. Okay, have you done it? Okay, good job. Now put your finger, hopefully your feet are clean, put your finger on the arch of your foot and then go west towards the inside of your foot. And on the coast of your foot there, that is the reflexology area of your kidneys. Now go a little south, and that's the area of your spine. Go a little further south, and that's the area of your bladder. Go over to the other coast of your foot, if you will. That's the small intestine area. And if you go north up to your toes, your big toe at the front of your big toe, that's the area connected to your brain.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I need to poke that area a bit more. I could do with the brain boost.
Yeah, and I gave you what, 5 examples there. All over your foot there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness, maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 spots to talk about.
Yeah, and that's all with the origin of TCM and the philosophy of, and studying of TCM. But also, I just like to go a little bit in depth in, this foot therapy thing, because it's huge in China, right? In case you didn't realize. So there's the massage, the pressing bit, which we've sort of gone through in depth. But what about 修脚? Or what about there's this whole big industry of fixing your feet?
Well, by 修脚, I believe you're talking about foot, or rather just a pedicure, right? But
that's part of it.
But
but it's more than that.
Yeah, in a Western context, pedicure referring to grooming your nails to make them look pretty and shiny with nail polishes applied on your toenails.
And then they'll I don't know the names of the tools, but that thing that they scratch on your foot to get
make
all
it more softer and get off the dead skin and everything.
Right.
That's the Western idea for pedicure. But here in China, when we go 修脚, or just to get that same experience, they have that, removing dead skin part too, but we focus a bit more on fixing the nail issues. It's almost like conducting a tiny little surgery that I know just too well, because personally I'm involved in this practice for way longer than I'd like to mention. But yeah, I've had this ingrown toenail situation been with me genetically, so I have to just conduct that little surgery every once in a while to just make sure my nails are growing out instead of sticking in.
Oh, and this is just one of the services that's provided at is this a specialty place, or this is a common thing that you can find at all the types of shops?
Let's say not all foot therapy shops can do 修脚 or pedicure, but those places that's labeled to be able to provide you the pedicure service, by that I mean the nail quote-unquote surgery service, they can also give you foot massage and the foot soaking service as well. So it's depending on what you need to probably go to different shops.
Right. And Steve, you'll need to it's best if you have a translator, because with a lot of the foot massage shops, it appears like that, but actually on the on the plaque of the title of the shop is actually the foot operation thing that Yushan just mentioned. And actually, as we were doing research, there's this fascinating case study that came up. A Mr. Zheng Yuan, he has built an empire, a business empire around fixing people's feet. And he comes from humble beginnings, from a little village. And then he's managed to listen to this, create job opportunities for his fellow villagers, and build this business empire. Apparently, he has a franchise store on Wall Street in New York City now.
Wow.
That's right. That's also reported by China Daily as well in just early October this year, that this Yuan group, you see now it's a group now, it's not just a chain store, has just opened a pedicure salon in Brooklyn, New York.
Awesome.
And that location is within a 30 minutes drive of New York City's 3 major Chinese communities and only about 10 minutes from the world financial hub, Wall Street.
All right. So guys, what do you think is driving the customers to this kind of service?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it's not just, you gave Brooklyn as an example. I think maybe when we think reflexology or when we think TCM, we think this is really limited to China, and it's just not the case anymore. And I think part of the drive, what you're asking, is that globally, TCM is being recognized as something that's legit and something that's attractive, because for people who are, we talked about it yesterday on the show, how TCM is here in China, it's kind of interwoven into people's lifestyles. But in the West, that's not the case at all. So it's new, it's mysterious, it's exciting, it's an alternative, right? I read, because I was searching, how popular is this actually in America? And I was reading different blog posts, and one woman wrote a blog post about the fact that she had been having trouble with her feet for years. She kept going to the doctors in the States, and they couldn't help her out. She finally turned to TCM and found an answer there. And she was saying, please read this post, and please, if you're in the same situation I was in, please give this a try. So I think that's what's driving it, is that there's an interest now around the world. I found another website in New Zealand about a shop that was boasting about all the services they provided, TCM services they provided. So it's global now.
Yeah, and also the idea of TCM, like Steve mentioned, is already globally recognized as well, especially in May the 25th in 2019, when it was officially adopted into the 11th version of the International Statistical Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems. And what that means is that TCM is now officially recognized by the World Health Assembly, which is the governing body of the World Health Organization, WHO, as a traditional healthcare system. So that's also opening more opportunities for the Western people who is curious to learn about this previously so oriental idea and just explore that a bit more. In fact, while I was doing my research, half of the webpage I was reading from were all either in North America or in Europe.
Right.
So it's really cool now that people are learning about it.
Yeah, it is. It is an exciting time to be in TCM, I suppose. And I just read last night, one of our listeners texted a comment on 小宇宙 and says that, hey, surprise, my favorite show Roundtable is doing this TCM topic, and I'm a TCM major.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so yeah, that also shows the development of TCM in China is now, like yesterday we talked about standardization of the practice. And yes, it is being standardized. It can be taught in university and has been taught in university for many years in China now. And I also like to stay here in China a little bit and asking you guys, then what about all these, I suppose, hip Chinese millennials and Gen Z? And apparently some of them are saying that this foot therapy thing, as well as other TCM wellness practices, are like the ultimate retreat for them in this busy work life. And does that resonate with you? Do you see why?
Totally.
It resonates with them. In 2022, Meituan's survey data showed that consumers aged 20 to 35 accounted for 75% of the pedicure industry. That means young people, and I mean the majority of people going to these shops for these types of services are young people, students, or perhaps people who are working as well.
Yay! And sorry, I'm just so happy to hear that. But in the meantime, I think nowadays for a lot of young people, it's not just about getting the relaxation from this experience. It's also about socializing with your friend by taking your friends there. Oh. It's like, I am not just soaking my feet on my own. We can chat while I soak mine and you soak yours. It's like,
do you have like a group, like a chat group for people who have ingrown toenails and then all go together?
I don't.
Getting a little too personal here.
There are people who do. So here's one example. So Yu, born after 1995, she's doing like company team building events such as going to the foot baths. So yeah.
Cool.
And as the popularity of foot therapy and TCM wellness grows, it's a reminder that while modern life pushes us forward, the wisdom of the past can still ground us. And the rise of foot therapy shows that even in a go-go world, young people are finding moments to pause and recover. If the foot carry the weight of our lives, perhaps it's time to give them and ourselves the care they deserve. Coming up, let's have a moment of heart to heart.
You ask.
We answer. Round Table. Heart to heart.
Our listener Olivia has a voice memo for Roundtable today.
Hi guys, I am Olivia from Guangdong province. I have been listening to Roundtable for almost 3 years since I went to university. I major in biological sciences in Tianjin Normal University, and I joined a laboratory of one of the professors when I was a sophomore. Firstly, everything went well, and I thought I could learn a lot from the experience. But till one thing happened. We formed a team to participate in a competition. I did a lot of research and finally finished a summary, and I sent it to my senior, and he said, "Summary is not like that." But when I asked him how could I improve the content, he said, "Oh, never mind, I will do it by myself." I asked him, when should we start operating the experiment? And he said, I have done before. You can use the data directly. I really want to operate by myself, but he insisted that, no, you don't need to, which really made me confused. So I learned nothing, and that's feel like I just wasted my precious 1 year time in such a laboratory. I was so disappointed. So in my new semester, I decided to quit. However, it is my 3rd year now. It seems that I will not have the chance. So, just anxious and frustrated. Can you guys give me any suggestions? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Olivia, for sending in this voice memo. And I totally get how disheartening it can feel when you're working hard, but feel that you somehow get pushed aside or you don't get the results that you're hoping for. So, guys, what do you have to say to Olivia?
Well, first of all, I just simply want to congratulate you, Olivia, in making it this far. You're a 3rd-year college student on biological sciences, and you've spent your time in the labs and working with these colleagues and peers and seniors. So that's why I would disagree with you on the point that you said you learn nothing. Because the fact that you were in this team, you were learning from these people, you were collaborating as a member, as a member of that team, has by itself its value for you to learn how working in a lab with colleagues are like, and also what kind of projects you are more interested in. You said you're very keen to do scientific projects, so yeah, this would be a very good start for you to learn about how such experiences should be like. And in the meantime, you've accumulated experience and know that there is this, say, job allocations under such structures of within a lab. So maybe next time you can probably consult your seniors or professors before you guys started working and just make sure which part of the job is yours and which part is not. Can, I think, help you to feel more balanced, to play a role in such an environment. And from someone who hasn't really been working as much as you do in a lab, I actually consulted my boyfriend who shares the same experience of working in a lab. And according to him, scientists like you, who is learning to become one in the future, or perhaps already a scientist right now, scientists should always be ready to be questioned or to be disagreed. So if you cannot say, prove yourself to your peers or to your seniors, at least you can try to make sure that the outcomes you're providing is correct and convince yourself you're doing a great job. And you're just a very young student at this point. I believe you have bigger projects and better experiences to come to you in the future as well. So yeah, congratulations. You're doing great.
Well said. Good advice there, too. Pardon me. Olivia, I would take what Yushan said and take it a step further. You didn't waste your time because you got that valuable experience of being in a lab working with a team. But you also learned a valuable lesson in work, in that your co-workers, that senior of yours in that context was your co-worker. And your co-workers may not always have your best interests in mind. You wanted to do the experiment. You wanted to figure out how to do the summary the appropriate way. He didn't help you. He just said, whatever, forget about it. So you lost your opportunity. So I think the lesson that you can take away here is that in the future, if you encounter a person like that who says, don't worry about it, no, forget about it, you can say, no, I'm going to do this. There's an experience here for me, a lesson for me to learn. And if that person isn't going to allow you, go around and find someone who will allow you. Perhaps your professor there
Right.
could
Yeah.
have helped you out because you gave him the power to make you quit that program.
Because you quitted.
She quit. Olivia
Yeah.
quit. So you gave him that power. So I think the valuable lesson here is in the future, you will encounter people like this again. There's no question about it. But next time, you'll know what to do.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's great advice. Can I also please quickly jump in? I also see this as it's about learning how to navigate the workplace where things aren't always fair and sometimes rules aren't written down. But the key is how you respond to it. And the big question here, I can only speak for my Chinese experience, is when should you comply and when should you challenge the status quo? When do you speak up when enough is enough? Because in this country, no, I don't necessarily think this is a country thing or a cultural thing. This is just a workplace thing because we're often somehow raised, indoctrinated that we should listen to seniors.
Yeah.
And also here in China, I think sometimes the unspoken understanding here is that, okay, I will support, I will give sometimes you're kind of willingly giving away the recognition. In compensation, you stay in the team. You get a future opportunity. And then therefore, if I just bite the bullet now, I get the future compensation. And that's why a lot of us stay silent. But actually, I think with younger people, the newer generation, and I've seen this with my millennial generation as well, sometimes you know that, well, actually, I could speak up and I could put my foot down and stump it.
Yeah.
And then, Olivia, you can do that.
Yeah.
And next time
Yeah.
you'll know when to do that.
Just ask yourself, how important is it for me to stand up for myself in this particular moment? Choose your battles.
Right.
Choose your battles wisely. We don't want to hurt your career.
No.
But just, that is always an option for you, of course.
Yes. And thank you, Olivia, and all of our listeners who've sent in emails as well as voice memos. And if you like what you hear, be part of them. Just like Olivia, send us a voice memo to roundtablepodcast@qq.com. And we will see you next time.